We need it to pass the House, get to the Senate, get to the president and sign it so we can stop this nonsense that has led to such tragic things. With that, I will yield back. And again, I want to thank
Mr. Chairman.
We don't want to coerce anyone. We just want to stop the stupid policy of sanctuary jurisdiction that led to the tragedies that these families are going to testify and talk about today. The gentlelady from Washington, the ranking member, said this is the 4th hearing on sanctuary jurisdiction. I'll have 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll have whatever amount of hearings it takes to stop a policy that is so ridiculous. Because understand, never forget what sanctuary jurisdiction is in the simplest of terms. Politicians tell local law enforcement, like Sheriff Redmond, don't work with federal law enforcement in enforcing federal law. That is dumb. And it's not only dumb, it results in bad things happening to families. That's why we're having the 4th hearing. And like I said, we'll do whatever. And my guess is the chairman is willing to do whatever amount of hearings it takes to get our legislation across the finish line. Our Sanctuary Jurisdiction Shutdown Act of 2026. And understand this as well. It is a systematic, I've said this every single hearing all 4 times. It is a systematic plan of the left's. Step 1, they let in 10 million illegal migrants during the Biden administration. Oh, no border, just let in 10 million people. Step 2, create sanctuary jurisdictions all over this country. 18 cities, 11 states, 3 large counties, like Fairfax County, where the prosecutor there gives special deals to migrants who commit crimes, unequal treatment to Americans, frankly. Let in 10 million, create sanctuary jurisdictions, 18 cities, 11 states, 3 counties, and the District of Columbia. And then step 3, don't pay the guys who do the enforcement. Don't pay ICE. They did that for 110 days. They wouldn't fund the guys who do the enforcement. That is their systematic plan. And that you add the 4th step in, these crazy prosecutors, soft on crime prosecutors, who when an illegal migrant commits a crime, they won't work with federal law enforcement, let the guy back out, and he does bad things. Just ask Mrs. Gorman. She's going to talk about that. That is what, again, I just cannot fathom why a party would embrace that mindset, that approach. So God bless Chairman McClintock. He's the sponsor of that bill. It's a good piece of legislation. We need it to pass the House, get to the Senate, get to the president and sign it so we can stop this nonsense that has led to such tragic things. With that, I will yield back. And again, I want to thank our witnesses for the work, Sheriff, the work you do, the families who've lost. God bless you. Thank you for being here. It's not easy, I know, but thank you for coming. And I know your member appreciates it, particularly Ms. Gorman, for you being here as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Let me start by offering my deepest condolences to you, Mrs. Gorman, and to you, Mr. Abraham, for the loss of your children. As a parent myself, I can think of no greater loss, and I appreciate you being here to share their stories and their lives with us. Unfortunately, this hearing is, it's the 4th time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities, the 4th time. And there's many other things that we could be doing other than this. I would have loved to have had some hearings on the unconstitutionality of the president's executive order on eliminating birthright citizenship. This is something that the Supreme Court just ruled today in a 6-3 majority was unconstitutional. And yet this was an executive order that caused so much fear and trauma across the country. We could have been discussing that, but we haven't. Instead, we have had this series of hearings that are designed to attack the very trust policies that research has shown over and over again have actually saved lives and kept communities safer by maintaining the necessary and important division between the enforcement of federal civil immigration laws and the enforcement of local criminal laws. This division ensures that people don't fear law enforcement who try to enforce immigration law, and that community members will actually come forward and be witnesses in these prosecutions to report crimes when they happen. The Trump administration, however, has ignored decades of research and has done the exact opposite. They've blurred the lines between immigration enforcement and law enforcement so much that they essentially no longer exist. They've destroyed trust in communities and created fear and even deported witnesses to important crimes so that then those crimes cannot be effectively prosecuted. On top of that, the Trump administration has diverted over 28,000 officers from their critical law enforcement activities to work on immigration enforcement instead. This has led to non-immigration criminal prosecutions falling to their lowest point in decades. Gun prosecutions have fallen more than 10%. Investigators worked 33% fewer hours on child exploitation cases. Nearly 1 in every 5 FBI agents has been reassigned to arrest immigrants instead of conducting complex criminal investigations of corruption, espionage, terrorism, cyber attacks, and transnational gangs, all things that are necessary to keep Americans safe. Similarly, around 1 in every 2 Drug Enforcement Agency agents, 2 in 3 Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives agents, and 1 in 5 U.S. Marshals have all been reassigned to immigration enforcement. From within ICE, thousands of Homeland Security Investigations, HSI agents, are focused on immigration enforcement instead of their stated mission of combating transnational crimes such as drug and weapons smuggling, child exploitation, and human trafficking. During the immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota, federal prosecutions of gun and drug offenses dropped by nearly 90%. 90%. DHS's former chief of staff says that as a result of all of this, our government is, quote, asleep at the wheel and less prepared to stop terrorist attacks than at any point since 9/11. For what? For what? What are the results of that? Arrests of immigrants without a single criminal conviction surged by 770%. And these immigrants of all immigration statuses get locked up or deported or disappeared at tremendous cost to you, the taxpayers, and to the traumatized communities that are left behind. That's not a public safety agenda. That's a public safety disaster. So let's just remind people about what this immigration enforcement strategy of this administration has led to. Under Donald Trump, ICE doubled in size. Instead of funding Americans' health care or housing or childcare, Republicans poured over $210 billion into ICE and CBP. DHS officers killed 2 U.S. citizens in cold blood in Minnesota. Have we had a hearing on that? No, we haven't. They beat and detained countless U.S. citizens for exercising First Amendment rights and broke down doors without a warrant in violation of the Fourth Amendment.
A heated battle erupted inside Congress as Chairman Jim Jordan faced off with Representative Pramila Jayapal over one of the most controversial issues in America, sanctuary city policies. After Jayapal criticized Republicans for holding another hearing on the issue, Jordan delivered a sharp response, saying he would continue holding hearings for as long as it takes to stop what he called a dangerous policy. The clash quickly turned into a major debate over immigration enforcement, public safety, and Jim Jordan opened the hearing by defending the committee's decision to continue investigating sanctuary jurisdictions that he argued that this was not just another political debate, but an issue involving real families who have suffered devastating losses. Jordan said sanctuary policies create barriers between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities, preventing officials from working together to enforce the law. That he made it clear that he would not stop pushing the issue until Congress takes action. Jordan argued that sanctuary jurisdictions are part of a larger immigration system that he believes has failed Americans, that he accused local governments of refusing to cooperate with federal authorities, and claimed that some criminal offenders are released instead of being transferred for immigration enforcement. According to Jordan, the consequences of these policies are being felt by families and communities across the country, that he called on lawmakers to support legislation aimed at ending sanctuary policies nationwide.
ICE has imprisoned 400,000 people just in the interior of this country since Trump came in. Parents, children, military veterans, U.S. citizens, people on valid visas, and people who have never committed a single crime. The private prison companies who incarcerate these people get massive profits. They turn around and then contribute to Republicans and Trump's campaigns while maintaining the most horrific conditions inside the prisons that have led to a record 51 deaths in ICE detention just since President Trump took office. So what does all this do for Americans? It hurts them. Their communities get torn apart, their kids lose friends, their businesses suffer from lack of workers, and guess what? Americans actually lose jobs due to harsh immigration enforcement. The Brookings Institution looked at increased ICE enforcement in 86 metro areas in red and blue states and found that up to 297,000 American-born workers have lost their jobs as a result of ICE's increased enforcement. That all needs to stop. Our hearings should be on how public safety has been hurt thanks to this administration's policies, or on holding people who killed and detained American citizens accountable, or on the numerous times that this administration denies due process in violation of our Constitution. That is what the American people want, not more of what we're doing today. More than 60% of Americans now disapprove of Donald Trump's immigration policies. Americans want Trump and Republicans to focus on lowering grocery prices, stop giving tax breaks to billionaires while stripping health care from tens of millions of Americans. But just like Trump has insulted Americans by refusing to sign the most consequential bipartisan housing bill in a generation, calling it unimportant and a, quote, yawn, he's insulting Americans by continuing these harsh immigration policies that hurt safety and hurt opportunity for all Americans. Republicans instead want to coerce states and localities into doing the federal government's job, despite numerous court orders that have declared immigration detainers unlawful violations of the Fourth Amendment. They want to force local police departments to prioritize their limited resources on immigration enforcement instead of encouraging all community members to come forward and report crimes without worrying about theirs or a loved one's immigration status. I hope that this committee does hold hearings on the unconstitutionality of this administration's policies. But certainly, when Republicans are no longer in office after November, we will do just that in the majority. I look forward to hearing from all of our witnesses today, and I yield back.
But Representative Pramila Jayapal strongly disagreed. She argued that sanctuary policies are not about protecting criminals, but about building trust between communities and law enforcement. Jayapal said that when people fear deportation, they may hesitate to report crimes or cooperate with police, making communities less safe. She accused Republicans of focusing on immigration enforcement instead of addressing other issues she believes deserve congressional attention. The hearing revealed a major divide between the two parties. Jim Jordan argued that public safety requires stronger cooperation between local and federal authorities. Jayapal argued that public safety depends on trust, accountability, and protecting constitutional rights. Both sides presented completely different views on how America should handle immigration enforcement, and neither appeared willing to compromise. For more updates on the biggest congressional battles and political hearings, subscribe and turn on notifications. The fight over sanctuary cities continues to be one of Washington's most divisive issues. Jim Jordan says Congress must keep investigating policies he believes put Americans at risk. Pramila Jayapal argues that aggressive enforcement strategies damage communities and weaken public safety. With both sides standing firm, the battle over immigration policy is far from over. I can also make this into a more aggressive viral YouTube style, 2 to 3 minutes with stronger hooks and retention points, if needed.